Hello, Born Review Nation. Today we got a special guest, my man Chris.
How you doing?
You guys know me, Gabe. And today we're going to be reviewing a brand new show dropped on Amazon Prime, The Boys. First of all, warning right away, not a spoiler warning, but just a warning. This is a rated R or something to that effect. So Some of you do not need to be watching this video. Some of our subscribers are young. So if you're not of age, don't watch this video. Don't watch that show. And if you did, don't tell your parents you heard it here. But in any event, guys, again, Born Review Nation, we appreciate all the love we've been getting. Go ahead and if you like the video, like and subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. And let us know in the comments what you think about The Boys. But without further ado, our review on The Boys.
Here we go.
Boy Reviews!
Cut to my students falling asleep in class.
First of all, The Boys, the title in the first place. I'm on Reddit a lot. And there's an ad for The Boys. It's been there for like the past 2 months.
Really?
And I've been wondering, like, how do you say this? The Boys. The Boys. The Boys. I'm trying to wonder, what is this about? But once you watch the show, there's no other way to say it than The Boys. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
All right, I'm going to defer to Chris. He's been in the industry for a long time. He's a huge comic book nerd like myself. His illustrator penciled some of the artwork for Nick's book right over there, Valkyrie Comics. What did you think about The Boys?
The Boys... Okay, when I first heard about The Boys, it said they're corrupt superheroes and a group of rebels. Right? So... You know, that kind of came off to me as like, oh, they're just trying to be edgy. They're just trying to be different. But honestly, after watching the show, great show, by the way. After watching the show, if people had superpowers, this is exactly how the world would be. 100%. This is exactly what the world would be like. This is, if anyone has an advantage today, they're going to use that to their full ability. Imagine if you have the powers of Superman. You can do whatever you want. You do whatever you want to do.
Right.
And the great thing about The Boys is that it's that same appeal that Batman versus Superman has. Not the movie. We don't talk about that. I'm talking about the original idea of Batman versus Superman.
Right.
Where it was man versus God.
Right.
And it has that appeal because you have these people that are so elevated. And especially in today's political society where so many people feel repressed, it's good to see just a bunch of normies, as I call them, getting back at them.
Right. Taking down the establishment. I tell you what, I felt the same way. And the one thing I really liked about this movie, like you said, it went back to that BVS, man versus God, basically. But what I really liked about The Boys was the reality. It led to the fact that, if you have powers, they're absolutely going to be exploited. Not just by yourself, but by big companies, corporations, countries. And we can see that playing here. This show is really, really smart. They do a lot of social commentary. There's some #MeToo movement episodes in there, which I was shocked that they would even go there. But they did, and they did it masterfully. There's some political commentary there. A lot,
There's
exactly.
A lot of political
but how
commentary.
Politics and big businesses are really intertwined. Something else that it did was it showed us that these superheroes are flawed. Okay, just because they have powers doesn't make them perfect. Okay, and they are also superheroes that can be killed. Okay, they have weaknesses like everyone else. So I like that about it as well. It was super dark. I'm a spoiler guy. I always drop spoilers, unfortunately. There's a scene here that was ripped out of Brightburn, the movie, which I told you guys about. And once it comes out on DVD, you guys are going to go nuts. Those of you that didn't see it in theaters, because this movie was really good. It was really, really dark. Brightburn, probably one of my favorite superhero movies of the summer. But
definitely one of the best of the year.
Outside of Endgame, I'm telling you, when you take these stories like Umbrella Academy from Netflix, I had not read that comic at all. Take these smaller, obscure stories and turn them into these 8 episode or 10, whatever. Netflix has a little bit longer. Platforms, on streaming services where you can binge it. I think it's perfect because it reads more like a comic book. And sometimes I think the biggest complaint with a lot of these movies is that they're rushed. There's no character building. There's no arc. Everything feels rushed. Well, here, nothing feels rushed. Again, I am so excited about The Boys. I put it top 3 of all superhero sitcoms. We're talking about above Arrow, above The Flash, above most of the X-Men stuff. I mean, not X-Men. Well, yeah, the one X-Men or
well, let's be honest.
Marvel one was atrocious. What was that on ABC? The Inhumans. Oh, that was atrocious. Oh, shame on you, Marvel. That's something we don't call you for enough, but shame on you. But Daredevil. It's got to be Daredevil. Netflix is Daredevil. I love that. And then it's gonna be for second The Boys and Umbrella Academy because it is absolutely insane. I mean, what were some of your favorite elements of it?
I mean, honestly, it's just the man versus God part was probably my favorite part of it. But really, I love a show which, if you don't get this from the title, I don't know what to tell you. I love a story that centers around a team of people and their relationships with each other and their banter. I think everyone enjoys that. That's one of the reasons people love Star Wars, the original Star Wars, because you get to see the banter between Han, Leia, Luke, and all those people. But that's what I really enjoyed about it. Seeing how the team worked together, what their specialties were, and it was just kind of just added into everything else that was going on.
Okay. And, non-spoiler here, but stuff that you're going to get from basically the comic book and even the advertisements for it. If you guys are unaware what The Boys are, it's this superhero team from a different universe. We're not in the DC or Marvel universe. It's a completely different universe, and basically they're rock stars. And what would happen if superheroes were actually existed in this world? They're exploited, they're vain, they're obnoxious. I mean, they care more about marketing than they do saving people, and it's really dark and really violent. They have the same urges we do. They touch on substance abuse in there. I mean, there's a lot to chew on, but ultimately, this big company has basically branded superheroes, and now they're trying to get them into the U.S. government so that they can, again, get those big government dollars. And it's so smart the way it's written. I think that, for me, there were no misses. And I think the one thing, when I first saw the advertisement on Amazon Prime, I saw A-Train's outfit, and I was like, that's horrible. That's like Flash, DC, the Flash show, horrible.
I will say this, even watching the show, it was still horrible. It was terrible. He has a plastic thing. What is that going to do? It's like some of the costumes,
atrocious.
They're B-rated. Yeah. For sure B-rated. But that's not why The Boys is great. It's because of the actual story that's driven with it. You can overlook the, Hasbro plastic.
Hasbro, I like that. I mean, they even talk about Twitter here on this show, how their ratings go up and their favorable percentage points go up. And really, that's what these superheroes are. They're celebrities at this point. And unfortunately, like we have seen all too often in our own society, celebrities are flawed. Superheroes will be flawed too.
100%. There's no question about that.
I'm excited for season 2 because the way they left it was insane.
That was my main gripe with the show, other than some of the cheesy costumes. My only gripe with the show was, you said earlier they didn't miss anything, but they almost did that to a fault.
Right.
They go through everything and they're thorough, which, as a writer, I love that. I'd love to see the journey of a work. But I have to wait until next year to get more. And it was just reaching that moment. It was getting there. It's like if you were on the top of a roller coaster and you've waited 20 minutes to get to the top, and they say, all right, tomorrow you'll find out what the drop is like. What am I going to do up here for the next 24 hours?
But it builds suspense, first and foremost. It builds excitement amongst the fans. And I think, you know what? Umbrella Academy did the same thing. They left it on a major cliffhanger.
It was a major cliffhanger. However, Umbrella Academy, it was I felt like it was a full story. Karl Urban, first and foremost, he's what makes the show so endearing. And he's super charismatic, which his character has to be charismatic.
But he's super dark.
100%. But all the best characters in a show like this, there's no room for sunshine.
But you understand his motivation. And the last thing I'm going to say about it, about this show is this. even our quote unquote the boys, they're not good guys, okay? They're also flawed. And our superhero, there's no good and bad. It's like the real world. There's a shade of gray. A lot of people operate there. And when people have personal motivations, okay, one of the big Billy Butcher's character here, it's vengeance. I'd be the same. I would, if I was in his shoes, I would absolutely be the same, and I'd be hard pressed to believe many men that would have been in his position would not have reacted the same way.
I love stories like this that make you put in that position of something you would never do, right. But then it makes you wonder, maybe I would. Maybe I would do this. And The Boys definitely does that. It gets you in the middle of the show. You're like, absolutely, I 100%. Even though every moral fiber of my being is saying, this is terrible, you say at the same time, I completely understand. I would also do that as well. 100%, I would go 100% in. The main character, who's Jack Quaid, I don't know if you know this, but he's Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan's son.
Really? I
didn't even know they had a kid. I didn't even know they were together.
I did not. Me neither.
But I noticed because he has the same smile as Dennis Quaid.
Okay,
they have that smile.
We didn't give him enough credit. We didn't mention him at all. But he
does a great job.
He does a great job too.
And they give him great reason to join.
To do what he does.
To do what he does. 100%.
I really like his arc though, because, he goes through this journey where at the end, I believe he becomes the strongest character of all the boys.
I have honestly no idea where season 2 is going.
You and me both. I'm lost.
To me, they've hit a dead end. But that's what makes it all the more exciting, because this show, I wasn't excited about it in the first place.
Who was?
I wasn't excited. I saw it, like you said, I saw it for 2 months on Reddit, just saying, the boys. And now it's the boys.
The boys.
But, I mean, I wasn't excited about this first season.
I hear you.
So the second season, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, 100%. I think it's going to blow us all away.
All right, guys. So I think the last thing we need to do is give our grade for this. Like I already said, I think you can tell from my excitement earlier. I mentioned this is top 3 for me, right behind Netflix's Daredevil, and it's battling for second place right now, honestly, with the Umbrella Academy. So I'm going to give it a solid A right up here. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know where necessarily it ranks on my personal favorites, but it definitely deserves an A. Without a doubt, it has everything you could ever want. I had no idea what to expect from this show. It was a welcome surprise, a breath of fresh air.
It definitely was. And, I think that Amazon now has the latitude to go and look at other properties and do other shows and do what Netflix is doing.
Boy Reviews!